Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm so glad you could be here right now. Today, I have some random Reddit stories to talk about and read and discuss while we play some Minecraft. Before I get started, can I get a quick vibe check? How are you guys today? Hopefully, you guys are doing just fantastic. Personally, I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. So if I sound a little stuffy or sick, I apologize. Anyways, in the last episode, we actually started digging, I believe, and we didn't go down to the deep dark, or not deep dark, sorry, to the darker cobblestone. Sorry, I forgot what it was called. But yeah, in this episode, we do a lot more mining. It's a more mining based episode. So if you like mining, you like the sound of mining, yeah, definitely stay tuned. Anyways, if you guys wanted to follow along, the first story that we'll be reading today is called titled, I sent flowers to the wrong apartment. She showed up at my door 3 days later and changed everything. And this is tagged as non-fiction, so it is apparently real. So let's read. So on Valentine's Day, I ordered flowers for this girl I'd been kind of seeing. Nothing super serious, but I thought it'd be a nice gesture. Just something small. I was in a rush and typed her address too fast. Didn't even notice I mixed up two numbers in her apartment. Hit place order and went on with my day. Got the delivery confirmation a couple hours later, but no text. No thank you. No these are beautiful, nothing. Just silence. Next day, still nothing. By day 3 I figured, alright, cool. Guess that's over. Kinda sucked, but whatever. Then someone knocked on my door. This woman standing there with the flowers in her hands. I didn't recognize her at first. She goes, hey, these showed up at my place. I almost threw them out, but they were too pretty. Figured I'd try to get them to the right person. I was like, oh, wow, yeah. Those were for someone who didn't really answer. She smiled and said, they're lost. And then, before leaving, she kinda laughed and said, you've got good taste though. If you ever need help picking out flowers again, I'm right down the hall. I stood there looking like an idiot, holding these now very awkward flowers thinking, did that just happen? Next day I sent her a new bouquet. Just some simple yellow tulips with a note that said, thought you deserved your own. That afternoon, she slid a sticky note under my door and said, do you send flowers to all your neighbors or was I just lucky? We ended up grabbing coffee that weekend. Talked for like 2.5 hours without even realizing it. Then we did it again. And again. Now it's almost a year later. We're still together. She still teases me about not knowing how to type an address. I still get her tulips every once in a while. Especially when I have no idea what else to do. Funny how one wrong number turned out to be the right one. Wow. Honestly, what a good story to really start off the day or the video. Honestly, and my day. To be honest, I'm filming this in the morning. But yeah, so it is non-fiction. I do believe the story. I don't think an op would lie about the non-fiction tag. But yeah, this is what I was saying. If you are a regular viewer, and if not, I'll say it again. Love comes in all shapes and all forms. It takes you by surprise, you know. That's what I really think. Like, if you really try to look for love, of course it's not impossible to find love while looking, like, desperately looking for love, but love will come to you when, you know, it's time. And, you know, who would have thought, you know, when you're talking to this girl and you thought, you know, you thought she was an important part of your life at the very least. And then you were gonna send her flowers and then God said, you know what? I'm gonna send you, you know, send the flowers to this address instead. Right? You could have double checked it. You could have just not sent flowers and you could have just sent it to anyone else but this girl. You could have sent it to another guy. You could have sent it to your grandpa. You could have sent it to anyone else, but it had to be this girl, right? This is what I'm saying. I'm trying not to be like too religious in these videos, but really like there's a plan for you out there, right? Whether you believe in a super being or not, I believe there's a plan out there for you, and someone out there has a plan for you. Someone out there is meant for you. So let's read some of these replies honestly. So the top reply says, "Wait, you live in the same apartment complex as these two women and didn't visit or even see the one you'd meant to send a flower for? Sorry." This reply is a little bit worded different, or a little bit worded weird. "Wait, you live in the same apartment complex as these two women and didn't visit or even see the one you'd meant to send flowers to for 3 days?" And then and then a reply to that saying, "Why are people / bots filling Reddit with AI content? There are easier ways to farm karma and no ad revenue. It deteriorates the value of Reddit since most people prefer real over artificial content." So actually, yeah, I didn't really understand why this person sent this screenshot that he did, like the original reply, and it was actually something like an AI scanner or detection. Damn, do schools use this? But sorry about that. But it's saying that it's AI, and I do see that. That was actually, I forgot to bring that up. While reading, I was kind of confused, like when the girl said, "Oh, I was just down the hallway." Well, that means you put your own address if you live in an complex, which means also the girl lived in the same complex as you. So I'm also confused, and it's not like you're talking to this girl and then this girl just stopped talking to you. I feel like the girl will still talk to you if she knew about the flowers or not. So a little bit like unrealistic. That's why I was questioning at first, and I just wanted to give the benefit of the doubt. But let's read one more reply before we get to our next story, honestly. The next reply says, "You don't get stories like this swiping right. I met my wife on net who was looking for a pen pal. 30 years later, still married." Yeah, so again, another reply, and the reply on that says, "Don't worry, this is AI, it isn't true." So yeah, I mean, I guess this goes against everything I just said, but I still do believe like love goes through all, shapes, forms, and sizes. And even though this is AI, this might be someone's life right now, like genuinely. And look at this guy. Look at this reply. His wife was looking for a pen pal, ended up dating her or marrying her like the past 30 years, right? Anyways, let's read the next story, and hopefully it is real. It has a non-fiction text or tag as well. It says, or the title is, if you want to follow along, is "I wasn't looking for anything, but then I gave a fake profile guy on Hinge a chance. I was on Hinge just wanting attention, pretending it was a swiping game. Not really looking for anything, nor was I ready for anything. When I saw what seemed to be an obviously fake profile respond to one of my prompts, I saw the hometown was just the same as mine and decided I was going to investigate and uncover who the real person behind this outrageously fake profile is. I talked to this guy for hours and made it clear that my real goal was to uncover who he was. But the banter just kept going and it was really fun talking to him. Conversation flowed easily and it was really flirty. Eventually I asked him to give me his IG, and he told me the truth about who he was. Now that I uncovered the mystery, I said goodbye and wished him the best. He begged to give him a chance and to let him take me out on a date. I stood firm and said no. 2 days later, I deleted the Hinge and my profile. For the next few months, he kept coming up on my mind because talking to him was a lot different to all the other guys I've talked to before. Eventually in September, I decided to create Hinge again for fun, but secretly hoped he was still on it, and he was. I waited for him to send a leg, but he never did, so I decided to do it and hope for the best. I sent him a response to one of his prompts and he matched with me again. We talked and it was like we knew each other forever. Neither of us neither one of us brought up how I ghosted him before, and I believe he didn't remember me. While talking to him, I found out he went to the same high school as me in my small town, but never knew each other. I decided to give him a chance because he was on my mind for the past few months. We FaceTime every day for hours, went on a date, and many more. By the third day, I found a picture on his camera roll. It was a picture of our chat of the very first time we talked on Hinge, when I was trying to uncover who he was. He took a screenshot and sent it to his best friend saying, "I think I found my future wife." He said he knew who I was when I made the move the second time, but didn't want to say anything to risk me saying no again. Now, we will be dating for 2 years and are getting engaged next year. I'm about to become his wife soon. Again, I'd like to apologize. I swear this is the last love story. Like, I just posted a love story, so if you wanted a love story dedicated video, I have one on my channel posted. But anyways, going about the story, yeah, so honestly, like, it is a bit risky, honestly, like, giving, like, really trusting this fake profile, and, honestly, you gotta question, like, why did he make a fake profile in the beginning? And I feel like Op really left out a couple of details here, like, and she tried to put it in a way that's, like, seems like it's all cherry blossoms, all happy, all bright. Honestly, there is really a risk to this, a guy's faking his profile, and then you get caught up, and then you want to go on dates with this person, and thankfully her goal wasn't to like really get with this guy. It was more to uncover his identity in the first time she talked to him, and she did drop him like after he admitted it. But I don't know, there's a lot of red flags. Hopefully, like, she got it all sorted out, and I bet she did. She is mirroring this guy, but yeah, there's definitely some things I would like, be worried about. But thankfully, worked out in the end. Again, love comes in all different shapes and sizes. There's only 2 replies on this, so let's read. What a wild journey. It's crazy how chance encounters can lead to true love. That's heartwarming. I guess it's a true story. Lots of people post fiction on the sub, but it's tagged as non-fiction. But again, it could be AI, but let's give the op the benefit of the doubt. So the next story that we have is titled, "I ended up in my neighbor's will," also tagged as non-fiction. So let's get started. A few months ago, I moved into a new apartment building. First time living alone. First time realizing I have no idea how to cook rice without Googling it. Anyways, my neighbor across the hall is an older lady named Miss Kaplan. She's like 80 something, walks with a cane that has a tiny built-in flashlight, and wears a robe with embroidered cats on it. Big grandma energy. One day, I helped her carry her groceries up the stairs because the elevator was broken. She gave me a butterscotch candy and said, "You're a good boy, just like my grandson." I thought she was being sweet and nostalgic. Nope. She started calling me Ben. My name is not Ben, but every time I corrected her, she just squinted at me and went, "Don't be difficult, Ben." So I gave up. I became Ben. She'd knock on my door with Tupperware full of mysterious casseroles and saying things like, "Eat this. You're too skinny." Ben was too skinny too. Poor thing. I figured, hey, free food. Who am I to argue? Fast forward, one day she invites me to a family dinner. I assume it's just her and maybe a cat. Nope. I walk in and half her family actually is there. They stare at me like, who is this guy? And she probably announced, "Hey everyone, this is Ben. He's back from Tokyo." Now I'm locked into this insane roleplay, where apparently I lived in Tokyo, work in tech, and still play the trumpet. I haven't touched the trumpet since middle school band, but I nod and smile like I'm auditioning for a Netflix series. Here's the twist. She knows. She later pulled me aside and said, "I know you're not Ben, but I like having you around." Last week, she pulled me over to fix her TV and officially mentioned, "You'll take the cat figurines when I'm gone, right?" I already put in the will. So now, I'm inheriting cat figurines because I became someone else's grandson by accident. And honestly, I think Ben would have wanted it this way. So just in general, just a really wholesome story. Like this is what I mean. Like you always gotta help your elders. Now I know sometimes it could be tedious, annoying to go out of your way and help. But honestly, like these people like they're not in their best shape. And honestly, like I'm probably assuming that you're probably in better shape than they are. And honestly, they lived however many years. You still have a very bright future ahead of you. So I feel like these elderly deserve to relax and really enjoy, their last 20 or so years in life. They worked so hard to get to this point. And that's why whenever I see an elderly, I want to help them. Even if they don't want to have help and they want to seem like they're still strong and independent, like I still offer that help. Cause I don't know, I just really, you know, really love what the elderly do or did for the world, you know. But anyways, going back to like the actual story itself, like it really is just cute, honestly. Like, um, she knew, sometimes you can blame like the grandma, or maybe she just forgot, but she did know, and that's the sweet part. She just loved his presence, and this guy was awfully nice. Not awfully, sorry, I didn't mean to use that word, but he was really nice, and that's why the grandma wanted him around. Let's read some of these reply. Wholesome content. You're a good Ben. That's so cute. What a nice story. But yeah. Let's read one more story. So this one's titled "Join the Neighborhood Watch Group Chat and Now I'm in too deep." It's also tagged as nonfiction. Sorry. It started a few weeks ago when I scanned the QR code in the lobby. I thought it was just for simple building updates like when the elevators are down or when they do fire inspections. I didn't think much of it. Turns out it was a group chat for the neighborhood watch. At first, I just read along. People were posting blurry photos of cars they didn't recognize. Someone asked if anyone else heard a weird sound at 3 in the morning. It felt harmless and kind of funny. I didn't really write anything. I just watched. Then it started to get intense. One night, someone wrote that they saw suspicious activity near the west entrance, and suddenly there were 20 people replying with theories and long messages. Someone uploaded a zoomed in photo of a guy walking his dog, and someone else joked that he was probably up to something. I was about to comment that it was Greg from 4B, but before I could even type, someone had already written out an entire step-by-step plan on how to casually bump into him. LMAO. They are now assigning shifts, actual shifts. I woke up to 5 messages tagging me by name asking if I could cover the west entrance on Thursday night. I was like, I don't even know what covering the west entrance means. Am I supposed to sit outside in the dark while playing on Jackpot City and watch for strangers or some shit? I opened the chat again later trying to write something polite about how I only joined for basic updates, and I'm not really a night watch kind of person. While I was staring at my phone trying to think of what to say, I did some work on the laptop just to distract myself for a minute. And then someone in the group chat sent a map with red circles on it, like they're trying to plan some sort of operation. Now I feel stuck, because if I leave the chat it might look like I was never actually interested in helping, and I don't want to seem rude. So I'm just sitting here pretending to be part of this whole thing and hoping they forget about me before Thursday. So yeah, I feel like some people really do take it to the extreme. Like this is not like a far-fetched, even though it's AI, it might be AI. Like this is not a far-fetched. This is someone's life right now for sure. It might not be ops, but it's definitely someone's. And is this there's a fine line between being cautious and being too overly cautious, or like paranoid to the point. Op, honestly, I get it. Honestly, she should have said something about like, oh, that's Greg from 4B. If you knew the person personally, then I would have stood up for them personally. The thing is, like, doing non-paid shifts, I guess, like, the group chat, it's a good thing to have and to express, your discomfort if you have any. But, doing these shifts, just standing in entrances, making sure, like, the person that comes in and out of the building, that's a little too much in my opinion. Everyone has their own life, everyone has their own boundaries, and I think you should live by it, honestly. So let's read some of these replies. First reply says, "Please get me out of here, cause I'll do anything, anything." So I'm assuming this reply is like, um, just making a little joke here. Um, Another reply says, "Honestly, most most chat groups like that are people who are just bored and would never actually do any investigating or anything. They're most likely just talking out of their asses or joking. Either way, I wouldn't worry about what they think if you wanted to leave the group chat or not. What someone else thinks of you isn't your business, meaning they could think all they want and get to live your life how you want." Yeah, exactly. Like, you shouldn't really care what they think about you. And they seem like paranoid type of people you don't really want to be around anyways. Even if they're joking or not, it's not really a funny joke and it's way too serious. So yeah, I agree with this reply. Anyways, those are the only 3 stories I had for today. Just wanted to make, a little video talking to you guys again, yapping again, being yapping one. But yeah, if you guys have anything you guys want to see, any topics you guys want to hear about, please just let me know in the comment. If you guys like the video and want to see more, please feel free to leave a like. It shows me that you guys enjoy these type of videos. And subscribe too. It's free, helps the channel. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video.